Welcome back to Tina's Kitchen. It's been a while. I'm so sorry I've been gone for so long. I had my baby, we had a little bit of a move, but I'm so happy to be back and I hope you welcome me back with open arms as well. Today I wanted to make something super simple. I've never made it. I'm not following any recipe. I just kind of want to explore and conjure up my own recipe, so to speak, because I do not have, all of the ingredients, so I did want to improvise and see how it turns out. So with that said, today I wanted to explore a dish that is Persian. It is primarily based with celery. So the primary ingredient would be the celery, and it is a stew. It's called Karafs Khoresht in Persian, essentially meaning celery stew. It comprises of beef or chicken or lamb, whatever your choice is. You do have cilantro and parsley, garlic, and onion sauté. Of course, it's laid over a bed of fluffy Persian rice. And then in getting into the spices, I did want to explore spices that probably were not in this initially. And that would be my onion powder, garlic powder, turmeric. Turmeric would be in it. I don't have fresh cilantro. Actually, I do have fresh cilantro. I don't have fresh parsley, which, needs to be in the dish. So I'm going to be using some dried parsley. So we'll see how that turns out. Salt, pepper. I am going to be using dried dill as well. I don't think the recipe would call for it, but, let's give it a try. And then you're going to obviously use oil to saute all of these beautiful ingredients and marry them together and conjure up this amazing, delicious Persian stew called Karafs Khoresht. So please join me, grab your ingredients, and let's get cooking. Alright, so the first step I like to take is chopping my onions because I like to get that out of the way. It does cause a little bit of tears, obviously, so you want to have them pre-chopped and ready to go for your next set of ingredients, which is going to be the celery, which is our primary ingredient. And I would say just, chop them into pretty small slices because you do want them to cook thoroughly and get really soft, not too mushy, but a tender consistency for your stew. So I'll go ahead and continue and chop through. And I'll meet you back after all of our ingredients have been sliced and diced, including chopping our cilantro and as well as dicing your beef. And you do want to dice your beef into smaller square chunks. Again, we want them to cook thoroughly and you want them on the smaller side so, it comes in every spoonful with every bite. So with that said, I'll see you soon after all of the ingredients have been chopped. Now that we have chopped all of our ingredients, it's time to saute them and marry all of these delicious flavors together. We're going to begin with adding some olive oil to medium heat. Begin with sauteing our onions and then bringing in the celery, the meat, the spices, and then, the cilantro and all of our dried ingredients, as well as some garlic. And voila, it's going to turn into, I'm hoping, a really tasty Persian dish. Now that our onions are pretty translucent and cooked through, we're going to go ahead and add in some garlic. So I've minced 3 cloves of garlic, and we just want to quickly give it a nice stir. You don't want your garlic to burn because it does burn fairly quickly. And that aroma, it just permeates the air. It's magical. And then you're going to go ahead and add in your beef. I'm using beef shoulder. You can use any type of cut you'd like. And we're just going to saute and let it cook through and get brown on all sides. Now while my meat and onions are cooking through, I do want to go ahead and add in my spices. So as I mentioned before, we have our garlic powder. I'm going to add in some curry for flavor. We have ground pepper, turmeric, which is the foreground, and some salt. And I might even throw in some onion powder just for additional flavor. So here we go. And I was a little generous with the turmeric, so it does get that nice golden color, but it will be infused with a lot of green, and the dish itself will have a greenish hue. And now we will be adding boiling water and covering it halfway through and having it come to a boil, simmering very gently while we cook the rest of our ingredients, which are going to be the celery, the cilantro, and we're going to add in some mint and some other dried spices as well. Now that we've sauteed our cilantro with all of our spices, including that dried mint, cilantro, parsley, I've added a little bit of Aleppo pepper, and I did add that onion powder to this combination since we didn't have the onion saute here. So now what we're going to do is marry these ingredients together and have them cook together and become an amazing stew. Alright, so while our stew is simmering and slowly cooking with all those amazingly infused ingredients, we are starting the rice, and all I've done is washed my rice. It's 4 cups of rice. I've added the water, 4 cups of water, 4.5, a little bit extra, some olive oil, and a half a stick of butter. I do have a generous amount of butter in here only because that's how my family likes the rice. Very fluffy and buttery. So the rice is boiling. It's fairly cooked through. It's semi-cooked. What we're gonna do is cover it with a paper towel and cover it with the lid for about 20 minutes, and the steam will cook it throughout. I think our rice is ready. We're gonna go ahead and remove it. All right, perfect. This is exactly how you want it to turn out, fluffy and not mushy. And we're just gonna raise the sides like so and cover to keep warm and ready to serve.